So, I talked about depressions, and we talked about the fact that there are unipolar depressions and bipolar depressions, and I want to explain to you right now what happens in the early stages that lead to depressions. What happens? Now, this is a theory that has been proven and was made by the famous psychiatrist Aaron Beck. Now, this theory is based upon a certain triangle. See this triangle right here? Now, this is called a cognitive negative triad. This triangle will show you why you develop depressions. And I'm going to show you how to spot them and then nip them in the bud before they develop and become contagious, then like a snake that lays its eggs there, and then hatch out more depressions and depressive thoughts and very negative thoughts, which lead to pessimism and negativity, and then they start to eat off each other, and then you get yourself a tornado of problems that are all in being processed by certain parts of the brain, as I explained in the earlier episodes or parts. Now, how to spot depressions, I'm going to cover it right now, but I'm going to show you right now how depressions happen. Now, first one is people have negative views. Let's call it with VI. People have negative views of themselves and start to think that this is what should happen. I feel bad, and I feel like I don't know what to do. You see, so they have negative views of themselves, and then they start to have negative views of the world, and then negative view of their own future or of the future in general. You see, these kinds of feelings, I'm going to explain it right here clearly. But the first one is they're saying, for example, negative view of themselves. They're saying, I'm worthless. I am nothing, or something like that. Now, the second one is they have a negative view of their own environment. They basically say that the world is bad. Negative view of the self. Of themselves. And then here, negative view of the is view of their own world, they're living in. Now, the other one is they start to have negative expectations of their own future, also negative. V of their own future, of, let's say, future. Now, for example, they're just saying things are just turning worse. My future is bad, and it's just getting worse. From one problem into the other. This guy dumped me, and then I now lost my car, and then I, for example, I don't have a place to live, and I lost my work. You know, they start thinking of these kinds of matters, or they simply say, okay, I just feel very bad. I think I'm going to lose my job, and then probably I'll be dumped by my boyfriend or girlfriend, and then, you know, continue this cascade of thoughts. Now, the other thing is, most people that have to pay attention to is the fact that they start to jump to negative conclusions on the basis of little evidence. You know, they start ignoring good events and start focusing on only on negative events, and the problem with that is that they start to exaggerate negative events that support their negative cognitive triad, this negative process. You know, they start to exaggerate this. So they're basically, it looks like this. You see? Looks like this one. They have negative thoughts, and then people have positive thoughts. So they start to list 1 through 10 the negative events that happened, for example, in a month, in a year or a month. 1 year, let's say, or month. You know, just collect them together. Collect all of these negative emotions, minus emotions, and as I said, these minus emotions are mainly concentrated in this part of the brain. This one right here, the prefrontal right cortex. Now, what happens is they start to exaggerate these kinds of events. You know, start to give them meanings. You know, for example, I dropped out of school. I lost my boyfriend or girlfriend, and now I don't have money. I'm going to lose my job. You know, and they continue down this destructive path of thoughts. You know, that is really very sad. You know, they start this. It starts to look like this one. You see, as you can see, this is the left side of your brain, and this is your right side of your brain. Now, the first part that takes the hit by such kinds of thoughts is here. This poor part of your brain. This is your prefrontal cortex. You know, this is activated. Then the story continues here. You see this. You see other parts of your brain start to get activated and then respond. First one, as I explained to you guys, I'm going to make it look clearer right now. You can see this one. This one right here. It starts with, for example, something, you're scared of something. This is your amygdala that starts, right here. Then you start to avoid such kinds of problems. For example, avoiding losing somebody, avoiding losing your money or your job or whatever. Now your hippocampus is going to be activated. That's number 2. And then, which leads to other parts that are also going to be activated, which is the fornix right here, you know, and then, you know, this whole path, and then jumps to this part of your brain, and then to this part, and then this whole system gets lit up, you know, like a light bulb. You know, there is some problem here and it needs to be solved. What happens? You sit down and you feel very bad.